At Watkins Glen, a shocking turn of events left NASCAR star Chase Elliott in a storm of anger and disbelief. As the race got closer, a series of miscommunications and mistakes out of the blue left Elliott stuck on the track, with his chances of winning slipping through his fingers like sand. But what actually happened in all this chaos? Join us on NASCAR Zone and pay close attention as the tension between Elliott and his crew chief hits a boiling point. But before we dive into that, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. At Watkins Glen on Sunday, Chase Elliott's chances of winning on a road course before the end of the regular season were dashed, marking the end of his penultimate opportunity to do so. In spite of making progress in the early stages of the competition, he made a significant error in computation that caused him to run out of fuel with 36 laps remaining. It has come to light that there is a video documentation of the conversations that took place between Elliott and his number 9 crew. After his car ran out of fuel, Chase Elliott's reaction to his crew chief was as follows.
Just hit it.
Copy, you'll pass me twice now. You gotta pit this time, we'll get you drinking.
Butter.
Right side. Good. All good, room to the 3, pitting this time. That's the best you can with it, fuck it. That information.
I'm on 2, I'm out of gas.
I know, just come to us whenever you can, it's fucking raw information.
Next car speed's coming out of 4.
Coming hard left side, got 3 of them. Clear behind the 54 here.
I ain't gonna make it, so I guess I just stopped.
Soon after that, he was helped to his feet by a pickup truck and transported all the way to the pits in order to receive additional fuel. However, by that point, the consequences had already been drawn. Elliott was able to regain his composure and recognize that there was no longer a chance for him to win. As a result, he inquired of his team regarding the point standings of their owner. Immediately following the race, Gustafson engaged in a conversation with Bob Pockross over at Fox Sports. And what were his words? Well, he essentially put an end to discussing the entire situation in that conversation. He outlined the situation by stating, "That's internal stuff. I'm not going to go over our internal struggles of the media, and I'm certainly not going to educate everybody else on the problem." But let's backtrack a little. Ever since Chase Elliott's return from injury, it seemed like they've been prioritizing caution. You know, not making bold moves during races. Part of that is simply about having faith in your driver. I mean, Chase Elliott is a champion, so why not allow him to race in the manner he finds most comfortable? Around a month ago, things started becoming very clear. A victory was a non-negotiable requirement. It was either the mistakes or simply lacking the necessary speed that hindered this team multiple times this season. Gustafson speaks candidly, stating to win, you have to have very little margin. That's what winning is. You're going to make sure you exploit everything to the highest percentile possible. Anytime you're trying to push, you're cutting margins. That gets riskier and riskier. Chase Elliott boasts a flawless record of making the playoffs of the past 7 seasons. However, due to his sideline status this season, his trajectory has taken a different course. That being said, he displayed commendable effort in staging a significant recovery. Unfortunately, relying solely on points wasn't sufficient to secure his spot in the playoffs. With the recent incident in focus, the question emerges, will Elliott manage to capitalize on one last opportunity at Daytona? Tell us know in the comments section below. And be sure to hit the bell button and subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates. Given the high stakes, crew leader Alan Gustafson and his team committed an unforgettable blunder. This incident not only raised alarms but also effectively dashed Elliott's prospects of achieving a significant feat at the Glen for the 3rd time in his career. To put it mildly, it was a costly error. Naturally, fans around the world were left astounded by the turn of events. In fact, their sentiments of frustration were palpable across social media platforms, as Chase Elliott faced a challenging day at the Glen. the Hendrick Motorsports crew chief found himself at the receiving end of the crowd's anger. Fans, indeed, expressed their displeasure on Twitter towards the 48-year-old figure. A fucking lap down, and NASCAR has basically no cautions in road courses, so they're screwed. Yank Allen off the box right now, Rick Hendrick. At Rick Hendrick, hello. Are you going to stand up for Chase Elliott or just allow him to continue to get screwed over? This is on Gustafson. This is ridiculous. At Chase Elliott deserves more from all of you. Fire Allen today at Rick Hendrick. Between his $600K a year crew chief in a war room, there is no way he's out of fuel. If that's true, and on Rick Hendrick, I'm firing like 7 people. At Jeff Gordon Webb at Rick Hendrick, get rid of Allen. Anybody can be fucking better than Allen. The guy can't do fucking correctly. Allen hasn't been having a good season. Number fire Allen. What a dumbass call by Alan Gustafson. Totally screwed at Chase Elliott. 3 laps of reserve? At the Glen? Gosh sure. Fire Gustafson. At Jeff Gordon Webb, give Chase Elliott a new crew chief already. At Team Hendrick. You don't deserve this at Chase Elliott. Demand a new crew chief. The discontent among fans over the number 9 team's decision is completely reasonable. Regrettably for Elliott, his fate hangs in the balance, with everything depending on the upcoming race at Daytona next weekend. In the aftermath of the entire incident, there's no doubt that Rick Hendrick will be conducting a thorough investigation into the situation at the Glen. What, in your opinion, is the right course of action to take in this scenario? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. This coming weekend's race at Daytona will serve as Elliott's last opportunity to qualify for the playoffs. Elliott still has one more shot at winning the race at Daytona, despite the fact that he had a rather terrible weekend and managed to finish 32nd overall, since he absolutely cannot make it on points alone at this point. Winning at Daytona is now his sole hope of staying in the championship hunt.
Well, I mean, Daytona is to show up there and be in a must-win situation is like going to Vegas and having to hit the nearest slot machine for the jackpot. I mean, like, that's just silly. So, you know, to me, that this is the opportunity that we have the most control over. Didn't have a very good start to the weekend, so puts you in a tough spot. But you know, look, nobody's fault but mine that we're in the spot we're in. So.
Now let's take a look at Hendrick Motorsports' other driver, who didn't leave the team in regret. This victory had been a long-awaited moment for William Byron. Throughout 2023, the rising star of Hendrick Motorsports had been on a remarkable streak, showcasing both exceptional speed and remarkable instinct, effectively positioning himself as a strong contender for the coveted Cup Series title. Stepping into the Sunday race at the Glen, he already held an impressive count of 4 wins for the season. Competing vehicles found themselves overshadowed, unable to match the captivating chaos emanating from beneath Byron's hood. Surprisingly, despite his prowess, a win on a road course had eluded him, until now. At Watkins Glen, Byron's performance led him to a victorious finish. He capitalized on a strategic pit stop towards the end of stage 1 to hold off Denny Hamlin. Byron's triumph, combined with his victory in stage 2, bolstered his collection of playoff points. No complaints there. Further down the race field, the situation was similarly positive. Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick secured spots in the postseason through accumulated points. It might just be appropriate to consider a fruit basket gesture for them from the Hendrick camp. Even Bubba Wallace had reason to celebrate at the Glen. Yes, really. Wallace secured stage points in both opening stages and secured a respectable 12th place upon crossing the finish line. This performance keeps him slightly ahead of competitors like Ty Gibbs and Daniel Suarez, who must rely on winning performances at Daytona in the upcoming week for a shot at the Cup Series championship. Overall, the day at the track went smoothly. Byron demonstrated the consistent form that he has exhibited throughout the year. For this, Keselowski, Harvick, and Wallace are undoubtedly appreciative. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more of our videos on NASCAR updates. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.